So let's just start. We'll do an in-joke thing later. Let's just do...
Yeah, I mean, we're in front of the Christmas tree. And we're going to talk about Escape from L.A.
Escape from L.A.
Starring Kurt Russell.
I think Powerhouse by Kurt Russell
Powerhouse
would be...
Starring is not the verb to describe
go.
what Kurt Russell does in this movie. Okay, so your basic plot is... This is a sequel to Escape from New York, and so it's basically the same movie again, but
I hadn't seen
much better.
I hadn't seen Escape from New York.
Okay. So basically, Snake Plissken, Powerhouse by Kurt Russell,
slams through a plot.
Is this like gunslinger outlaw guy, and
all around badass.
They've used him before he had to go into this like prison city that was New York and extract some people that they needed out. So in Escape from LA. Same basic premise again. LA has been earthquaked and separated away from the mainland. It has become a lawless prison island where America deports its unloved and
it's beautiful.
Disgusting people. So, Snake Plissken is charged with the task of retrieving a doomsday device that one of the crazy terrorists has on the island.
Obviously played by a Che lookalike.
Oh yeah,
really just trying to
of course
push
has
the Latin,
to be
Latin bravado, full beard.
Yeah, evil, basically.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, communist, definitely.
Okay, but the crux of this one that makes it different is you can tell at this point John Carpenter has gotten
given up.
Yeah.
Given up on trying to do something that you were expecting him to do, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's not so much that like he is like sad in this movie. It's just like, no, he definitely just started making this movie and was like, wait a minute, I understand what 80s movies are, but it's still the 80s, and that's what makes this movie really great. I mean, everybody kind of like
so self-aware.
People want to shit on this movie for being ridiculous and over the top, but that's exactly what the plan was.
Yeah.
He saw it was like, oh, I could make this normal and boring, or I could just go balls to the wall what an 80s movie is supposed to.
Exactly, and it's shown by how the movie stretches sometimes, because in the parts where, there'll be a scene where he got something laser shooting from space, and it's like, just green screen it, throw some 3D in, I don't care. It's not about how it looks, it's about how the movie feels, and it feels like, just a joyride.
It's fun. It's absolutely fun. It is a parody and a celebration of everything that there is to love about 80s
and everything that there is to hate, really. I mean, it investigates every corner. It's not afraid to laugh at itself. Is really what the best. I mean, because when you really start to break it apart.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people yeah, he surfed on a wave to catch up to a car to punch out Steve Buscemi.
That broke the movie for a friend of mine. That made the movie
exactly.
for me.
Like, you can't think for a moment seriously that, like, yeah, man, I don't know what John Carpenter was fucking smoking there. He's just an idiot. Like, of course he did that on purpose because it's ridiculous.
It knows itself. It's just like, in his other movies, Big Trouble in Little China, there's that scene.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, where it really just, he knows what he's doing. I mean, when Kurt Russell gives a speech with makeup on his face, he knows it's a joke. The main character is posturing while covered in, face paint. He's aware. He wrote that down. He was like, it'd be funny. It's great.
So on Kurt Russell, you want to talk about the acting?
Oh my God, Kurt Russell. I mean, I just saw him in The Hateful Eight, so I know that he's a good actor, like in every sense of the word. And this movie, I feel, also proves that. It's to no way, like a showy. He moves like a runway model the whole time.
It really does. He's got that strut.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's one moment where his lats aren't just engaged. And Kurt definitely did some pull-ups for this movie.
He's super physical in this movie, which is kind of impressive. As much as like I don't know, like in a.
He's always been tough.
Yeah, he's tough, like, and he's got like the rugged exterior, but like you realize in this movie, it's like no, like he's been doing like he started acting when he was a kid in Lost in Space, and he's just kept that like super like physical acting style.
He moves so much. There's so many hand movements. There's that one movement. Steve Buscemi
also rocks.
Like, oh my God, let's talk about him for a second. But they have a great scene together. Steve Buscemi is. He's the chaos.
He's
guy.
a parody of like what the LA producer is.
Exactly.
I mean, he's willing to make a deal anywhere.
He's got his perfect car. He's got the outfit for him. He looks like he walked out of LA. It's ridiculous. But he's the chaos character, and there's this one interaction he has with Kurt Russell in his car, and Kurt Russell goes for like this choke, and Steve just brushes it away.
Mid-dialogue, too.
Mid-dialogue.
He's just talking him back to the side.
Snake's been poisoned, but either way, the fact that there's just that like interaction
and
that's
that
what
comfort. Like it very much in that scene shows how comfortable Steve Buscemi's character is in all of this chaos.
Right.
He thrives on it. The cinematic like exploitation in this movie. I mean, everything is chaotic. I mean, it's got that Andrew Laszlo like. Streets of Fire, like Warriors, grunge city, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style, like just city that is
drawn in MS Paint,
blue moonlight bathing the streets with fires burning always a fire burning.
One of the best scenes in the movie. Yeah, I feel when I was watching when I first saw it, that when he walks into LA, that first shot.
Yeah.
After he hangs tight with that surfer dude, like he gains his last ally of the movie. Yeah. This guy's just gonna be completely cool with.
And then he just walks into this beautiful composited painting of like this grunge city. And like speaking of like the compositing and like the effects, like as much as like you can watch this movie like that effect looks kind of bad, like that green screen is very good. It's really interesting to watch because like another thing I was picking up was like as much as like the compositing doesn't look beautiful, the camera work, literally, if you translate it today, wouldn't change.
Yeah.
Like, they were only limited by, like, the technology. Like, there wasn't a scene where, like, John Carpenter just wasn't sure how to shoot that, and he kind of did it. She's like, no, he did a perfect job shooting it, and if the technology had been better, it would look better.
Exactly.
It's not,
you could remake that movie today with the box out.
Shot for shot.
Yeah,
no
for shot
problem.
and, and just pump it up.
Just even, like, that technical effects work wouldn't change.
The idea is communicated.
Yeah. No, there's no, Copacabana scene from a Scorsese movie that's super long, but, like, he has a really good mastery of just, like, no, I need a 2-minute Warner, and, like, it's beautiful.
Exactly. It's that variety.
It's needed, and it's there, and it's executed well.
It keeps the interest going. I mean, I was so excited about that one scene where he walks into that crowd of people at the start.
Yeah.
But you introduce all those
because
different
there's so much going on.
Exactly.
Moving on with that, like the soundtrack is great in this movie. I mean, the music, it's not over the top, super electronic 80s, but it fits well. And there's a good amount of they give Snake a theme. They have Kurt Russell's has like a Western cowboy guitar riff. They punctuate with guitar riffs and plays. It's good. It's solid.
I mean, it only added. So as far as the story goes, I think we were talking about the how there's so much payoff because they build the start. I mean,
they front load this movie.
That's the word.
And it's good. Like it's
so many Easter eggs. Because the best part is there are no red herrings in this movie.
No.
Everything is used, and I mean that is refreshing. That's so much refreshing to watch. It's like, okay, don't show me something if you're not going to do something with it.
And then it's also like it's exploited well because it's not like we were talking about too, where one movie might introduce something that has a payoff. I don't know. It's shown in the first in like halfway through the movie, and then it's paid
it doesn't have enough time to build up anything.
But this movie, like so many things are set up in the very beginning that when you get the payoffs, like so far into this movie, you're like, okay, like that I appreciate, but there's so many of them that it just really builds out to something you can just really appreciate.
Exactly.
Part of the movie is he's got a timer. He's only got so many hours,
and that's what we said barrel through the plot.
Like, it keeps the pacing moving, and honestly, it's. You may look at it and it's like kind of a cheap device, but like it keeps the movie moving so well. And why not? Like, I mean, there's no second where I'm like, well, I question this. It's like that was established in Escape from New York. Same thing here.
One of the best examples of that point is at the start where you're going through this just pleasure house of LA. The first thing he walks into, he's like, I'm trying to find the tracking, he's tracking the body of the one guy that was left there. But when he goes in, you're distracted as the viewer with you see all these gangsters and hookers and just all this stuff spinning around you. But then in the next scene, he literally shoves a waitress. Yeah, he needs to go. He doesn't care.
Is just like, I have to do what I'm doing.
It's back to that physical acting. He's like, no, that's what Snake would do. Snake is dying. He thinks he's dying.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to go.
And it keeps it moving. And that's the other thing, like we were talking about too, is like one of the things you may like when you think like, oh, so it's just an over the top 80s action here. Like no, like Snake is always on the ropes. Almost.
His strength is variable, which makes it interesting to watch. It's not like Superman or any other character that just they have weaknesses because they have so much strength.
Yeah, he's not just slaughtering his way through the movie. he is constantly like,
Piece by
well, I
piece,
tried this and
taking
like
it apart.
I had that struggle, so I have to like.
He
rise
tricks.
to
He
meet this
tricks
next challenge.
everyone.
Oh yeah, and exactly. I mean that same kind of like outlaw style. I mean he isn't just like best everywhere, but like in the Boy Scout way. It's saying like no, don't fire until his hand hits the ground.
Yeah,
throws
exactly.
Up, and kills
It's not like
everybody.
he's that's the
Yeah,
exact scene where he makes up the rules for this game that very well may be fake, and it doesn't matter because he makes it up on the spot. Because that's the thing.
He's
he
gonna
gets
take
told
any
later.
advantage he can have.
Yeah, he gets told later, make it up on the fly. He's
Yeah.
all reflexes.
Another thing that like makes this movie so enjoyable as kind of like a synthesis of everything we loved about 80s action movies is like it keeps hinting at a larger and larger
Yes,
world. Like it's like,
exactly.
yeah, back in that other time it's like, okay, so I get to use my imagination to fill in stuff here.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Exactly.
And
This
same thing with like just like
president.
like one of the great things about an 80s action movie is leaving that idea of a sequel is like, oh man, that means in my head I can think of them doing more things. Like this isn't the end of the story. Like Snake as a character is more exciting and we just got to see a slice of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that means the character was actually exciting this whole time. Obviously we love this genre specifically.
It's cool.
So we're a little biased, but I think that's part of the compelling reason. It's like, no, like everything that happened in this movie, like, reaches far beyond, like, just the scope. We get to go and, like, think about it, run it through our minds.
Yeah, you get that. It gets that. I mean, at the end where they're talking about the world and the president, and there's a lot of political things. Like,
Yeah, but it's all over the top big.
It's even the best part.